All right, guys. Well, I think this is a good place to start. Thanks for joining me tonight to go through the impact of social media in your recruiting process. And to get started, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Mia Hall, and I am a customer success manager here at SportsRecruits. A little background on me. I played lacrosse collegiately at Millersville University and was a former Division II women's lacrosse head coach for over 10 years. In addition to that, I've been the director of a girls lacrosse program for the past 8 years. So for me, I always love talking about, best recruiting practices. And I'm really excited to be with you guys tonight to go through the impact of social media in your recruiting process. Okay, so let's take a look at the topics we'll be covering tonight. The first topic that we'll cover is the importance of social media in your recruiting process. Why you should be putting your information on these sites. Next, we'll cover, the rules that the NCAA has put in place in regards to social media. I'll then discuss, how college coaches typically use social media in their recruiting process. And then I'll also be talking about another very important topic, which is how you should be handling your social media accounts, some do's and don'ts. And then we'll go through at the end how you can leverage your sports recruits profile on these social media sites and vice versa. And then at the end of tonight, with the time that we have allotted at the end, we'll wrap up with a quick Q&A session where I'll try and answer as many questions as I can as possible. And just so that you guys know too, as I'm going through this presentation, if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Like I just said, I'll try and get to as many of your questions at the end. And then also, please know that this webinar is being recorded. So, don't sit and feverishly take notes. You guys will receive a copy of this webinar that you can rewatch 24 hours after this is completed. So, with that being said, let's jump into it. Okay, so first topic, importance of social media. So this graph right here is from a 2022 study. But what we wanted to show is the top social media platforms that US teens and student athletes are using or have ever said that they've used. So obviously, this study is a few years old. I can imagine now that probably TikTok is, higher or probably the highest social media platform. But the important takeaway for you guys is that social media has become such a powerful tool in the recruiting process. It offers both benefits and risks for athletes and coaches. The more student athletes are, using social media to promote themselves, obviously, coaches are then flocking to these sites to make sure potential student athletes that they're interested in are handling themselves in the best possible way. So, I think just understand, and you'll hear me say this quite a bit, but, understand that anything that you post on these sites or anything that you have on your phone could be found by a college coach. So just make sure you're being very cognizant of the things that you're putting out there in the social media world. Okay, so let's dive into the NCAA social media rules. So the click, tap, don't type rule was one of the rules that came out that really helped college coaches understand how they can use social media without violating any communication rules. So basically, in a nutshell, this is, where college coaches, if they're on X and you see a tweet that a student athlete put out there, they are allowed to retweet, or share the post, but they're not allowed to publicly comment that they, on that particular tweet. They're also not allowed to post that student athlete may be a potential prospect to their institution. So those are things that they're not allowed to do on social media. I think what's important also is to state that it is permissible. They are allowed to privately message you or DM or direct message on these sites. But again, they're just not allowed to publicly comment for all to see on your post. Another important piece of the click, tap, don't type rule is also that once a student athlete has signed a written offer of athletic aid to their institution, then that coach can publicly comment on that athlete's post. So until that happens, they are not allowed to publicly do that. And then knowing the rules on your end, there's, really nothing that you need to worry about as far as like losing eligibility if you tweet something out there and a coach likes it or retweets it. From a college coach end, they have to follow the same rules, the same restrictions as phone calls and emails that they're already under. So this really applies to, when you think about DMs. So depending on the sport that you play, college coaches at the D1 level cannot contact you via email or through DMs until either June 15th or September 1st, entering into your junior year. And again, those dates depend on the sport that you play. But again, those dates, after those dates, they can contact you, but those messages still must be private and they can't be publicly commenting again until you sign that written offer of athletic aid to their institution. Okay, next I'm going to talk about how college coaches use social media. So what do college coaches use social media for? For starters, they use it so that they can stay up to date on prospective student athletes that they have interest in. They want to see, what you're posting, if you've uploaded a new video footage, and so forth. Also, D1 coaches, like I just said, can message you directly on these social media sites if it's past June 15th, entering into your junior year, or September 1st. So they're using social media to get in contact with you that way as well. College coaches also use social media to help with publicizing and branding for their school and their program. I think something that you guys should really keep in mind too is with some of these bigger programs, the school account or the coach's account, may be being run by a social media coordinator at the school. So if you guys are direct messaging these college coaches, just keep in mind that that person who's responding may not be the head coach themselves. And then lastly, college coaches are also using social media to announce the events that they're going to be at. So where they're going to be on that recruiting trail. They're using it to also help promote any camps or clinics that they're putting on as well. So I think in sum, they're really just using social media to further evaluate prospects and then also help promote their program and institution. Okay, so what do college coaches look for on social media? They're definitely looking for consistency and authenticity from student athletes and in your post. So they're looking for this so that they can get a better read of who you are as an athlete, like what you believe in, what you like, what you don't like, and ultimately they're trying to learn more about you as an athlete and a person through social media posts. Yes, they're definitely looking at your highlight reels and your skills video, but they also do want to see your personality in these posts as well. For sure, they're looking to see if you are posting appropriate things or if you are also engaging positively on social. Essentially, again, how are you conducting yourself in public? Because again, your social media is a representation of who you are as a person, and you're letting that out in the public for everybody to see. So, lastly, I think they're always looking at ways that they can evaluate you, your athletic abilities. So, I think having highlight reels, quick team promotion videos, and reels like that training session videos on social media is great, because again, college coaches are using that to evaluate you as well in the recruiting process. So make sure that you're also, putting that stuff out there as well. Um, some red flags that college coaches are looking for, and they're always looking for those, is that, they're looking for red flags. Let me back up, because they are evaluating hundreds of thousands of athletes. So they're looking for little things, good or bad, that can move an athlete up or down on their recruiting board. So some of those red flags to definitely stay away from are like posting negative comments on your social or other people's social, like bad mouthing a coach, a teammate, their school, their friends, their family. Basically, any comment that you think would come off as inappropriate. College coaches, I think, for sure understand that you all are human, that you all have emotions. But I think what you need to understand is that you don't always need to press send or reshare. So I think a good rule of thumb is to think about how a comment may come off, especially if you're not in a position to, explain yourself in real time. College coaches are also looking for inappropriate posts or reshares or tags of you. So, I think not only be careful of what you post or, reshare, but also be wary of what people are tagging you in as well. You all probably know this as well, but also be mindful of the accounts that you follow. As college coaches, they're all able to see all of the accounts that you're following on social. So just be careful with that. I think, ultimately, you want to make sure that you're doing your best to follow accounts that, or not follow accounts that wouldn't put your values in question. College coaches are going to look for essentially anything that can, move you up or down on that recruiting board, whether it's good or bad, because they want to make sure that they are finding the right student, the right athlete, for their team, their culture, and their institution. Okay, next. How should you guys be handling your social media? So, how to handle your social media. So, this is all about, I think promoting your brand in a positive fashion and in a positive way. So, you want to make sure that you're promoting your brand where college coaches can see who you are as an athlete and as a person, and, how you could potentially be a good fit for their culture and their program. So, the first is, communicating with college coaches, and not just posting selfies and highlight reels. It's really about how you can communicate with them and, build your brand and connect with these coaches. So when it comes to communicating with college coaches, I think first off, always be respectful and timely in your communications with them. Respond to their messages promptly. Use appropriate language. I would also say avoid late night messages, as that might give an impression of just like poor time management. I would also tell you, like, try and stay away from messaging college coaches during class times, as college coaches may think you're probably not paying attention in school if you're doing that. So I think good rule of thumb is to try and communicate with college coaches either before school or after, and try and not communicate with them after 10 p.m. I also think it's important, for you guys to try and be authentic in your communication as well. Don't be afraid to show your personality. Ask thoughtful questions. Engage in like genuine conversations as best as you can. For sure, college coaches want to see who you are as a person and not just, an athlete. Next bullet point is notification settings. So when you're communicating with college coaches, before you go in and do that, make sure your phone notifications are turned on. You definitely don't want to, miss a crucial message, from a coach because you didn't check your phone. So that's really, really important. Um, You can also leverage your social media to help you engage with these coaches. So to show interest in a program by, liking or commenting or sharing their post from that college coach's Instagram account, X account. This kind of simple action can for sure make a big difference in your recruiting process. I would also tell you guys to make sure that you're showcasing your brand. So use social media to highlight your athletic achievements, but also your academic honors, your community involvement. Sharing these positive experiences and posts definitely helps reflect your personality and is something that college coaches for sure want to see. And then at the end of the day, again, remember social media is a reflection of you. So be mindful, and I'm going to say this like a zillion times in tonight's presentation, but please be mindful of what you post and for sure try and avoid anything that could really, I think, negatively impact your reputation. My next bit of advice would be, take all the schools that you've favorited on your Sports Recruits profile from that favorites tab, and then go and favorite these schools on social media. So their Instagram, their X, their Facebook accounts, go ahead and follow those guys. This is such a great way for you guys to learn about the program's culture, to keep up to date on, anything that's going on within their team. And then I would tell you, like, don't be afraid to like or positively comment on the posts that these programs are putting out there. Um, I think also what's really great about going and following all these different social media sites for the schools that you're interested in is it's a great way for you guys to gather research for hopefully further conversations or future conversations that you'll have with these coaches. I think it lends for like more meaningful conversations when you have them, because you are for sure able to think back on some of the posts that you've commented on or seen. So instead of you guys sitting down in a meeting being like, hey, how did your season go? You'll know, and you can bring that up, or you can, say like, I saw that you guys beat your big rival the other day. That was awesome. And that really shows these college coaches that you're paying attention and that you really are genuinely interested in their school. So that is really something I would say, please make sure you go in, especially like after tonight, go follow all those schools that you favorited. It will make a really, really big difference in your recruitment process. Okay, so, we've talked about building your brand. Let's discuss how you can protect it. And I think, this equally, if not, this is equally, if not more important, because you want to ensure that your online presence really reflects you positively. So, let's start out with privacy settings. The first step to like really protecting your brand is to choose your privacy settings. So you can opt for either a public profile or a private one on your social media sites. A public profile is visible to anyone, while a private profile requires people to have to follow you to see your content. For sure, both have their advantages. However, even if you have a private profile, it's definitely crucial to remember that, once you post something, it exists online forever. So private doesn't really let you off the hook by any means. The next thing that you'll definitely want to ensure is that you're protecting your personal information. And this is really big, you guys. So, for this, you'll definitely want to avoid sharing sensitive information like your home address, phone number, or email address directly on your social media profiles. I would even caution you guys to make sure that you don't have this information on like your title cards of like highlight reels that you're posting on YouTube or Huddle, because essentially like anyone could rip your email address or your address or your phone number from those title cards. So you definitely want to make sure, that you're just not sharing all of that information out there for the entire public to see. So what we recommend is that you guys do two things. first is you all have your sports recruit profile. And the beauty of the profile is that you can store all of this personal information right in there. And then to give you guys a little bit more background, when a person or a college coach Googles your name and they click on your sports recruit profile, they will only see the public version of your profile. So the public version does not allow them to see your personal contact information or your academic information. It just allows them to see a preview of your profile. So that's really important for you guys to know. On that preview, they can really just see any visible video and like your profile picture and some basic information. When a college coach logs into the platform, then they're granted access to see your phone number, your email, your academic information, and then essentially any other information that you put on your profile. So that's how Sports Recruits really ensures that your information is protected and that only the right people are seeing it. The next thing that we recommend is that you only send your contact information to coaches that you're speaking to via social media through direct messages. So please don't put your contact information, like your email, your phone number, on your X account bio or your Instagram, bio or profile, because again, that's out there for anyone to see. So I think, talking about you definitely want to protect your information. The next thing that you'll want to do is it's important for you then to go ahead and curate your online presence. So essentially clean up your past. So, go ahead and review old posts, remove anything that you think might be inappropriate or embarrassing. For some of you out there, you may have had an Instagram or an X account for years now. And in the very beginning, you guys may have posted things when you were younger that no longer aligns with who you are or what you believe in now. So again, it's going to be really important to make sure you go through, you clean up those posts so that you can show yourself in a positive light and not a negative light. And then the next bit of advice is to choose a professional or update your username or email address. So kind of like what I just said before, because some of you probably had accounts for a couple of years, you may have chosen an inappropriate or a random username back then. When you're building and protecting your brand, you'll definitely want to make sure that you're selecting or updating your username and emails to one that's really easy to remember and search for. So for instance, like an email that has your first and your last name with your grad year is really, really easy for coaches to remember, or, maybe your jersey number at the end. So that's going to be important for you guys to go ahead and update email addresses and handles to appropriate usernames. And then again, I know I keep saying this, but post thoughtfully. Before posting, for sure, ask yourself, would I be comfortable if a college coach saw this? And if the answer is no, don't post it. So I think, just these simple tips can really help you protect your brand and maintain a very positive online presence. Okay, so this slide right here, this is showing you, and a couple examples of what college coaches have tweeted. And I just want to make sure to add, this isn't to scare anybody, but it's just to show that this really does happen. And these are real tweets that college coaches have put out there when they've had to unfollow and stop recruiting an athlete because of something that the student athlete posted on social media. Obviously, you never want social media to put you in a situation where you had an opportunity to play your dream school, and because of something that you reposted, tweeted, or liked, it caused you to lose that opportunity. That's so crazy. So, again, use social media to help you in your process, and be a tool for you and not one that will hurt you. Okay, so the last section right here that I want to talk about is using sports recruits and social media. So again, you know, what's so great about Sports Recruits is that it serves as your home base for where all of your recruiting information lives. Sports Recruits is a recruiting network that connects student athletes to the college coaches. A network like Sports Recruits is where, you know, all of your information should live, and social media can be for sure an amplifier for that. So the first way that social media can help amplify your recruiting process is to make sure that you always add your Sports Recruits profile link in the bio section of your X or Instagram or YouTube accounts. By doing that, college coaches can click right on that link and it will take them right to your profile where they can see all of your additional, you know, athletic and academic information and your videos as well. Um, Additionally, on your Sports Recruits profile, you'll also be able to add your social media accounts in designated areas under the profile tab on your account. So specifically on your Sports Recruit profile, there are two sections where you can add your X handle and your Instagram handle. And then for anyone who has a YouTube channel or a Facebook account, you can actually add those links in the press link section of your Sports Recruits profile, and college coaches will be able to click on those as well. So it's important for you guys within your profile to fill this out because then college coaches can find your social media accounts way easier and start following you as well. And so, okay, here's an example of someone copying their Sports Recruit profile link and then posting it in the bio section of their X account. So to find that URL link, when you're in the platform, if you open up the messaging tab and then hit compose new message, at the bottom of that message, you'll be able to see your specific profile URL link. So from there, you can copy this and then paste that in your X or Instagram accounts as well. And then right here is where you are in your account under the profile tab. And on the left-hand side there, you'll see where it says essentials. That's where you can scroll down, and this is where you can add your social media profiles. So like your X and Instagram handles directly to your Sports Recruit profile. So again, this is in the essentials section. And also in that section is the press link section I was just speaking about as well. That's where you can add in your, you know, Facebook or YouTube URL links there. And then once you add your Instagram account, your X handle, and click save, you can then see on the right hand side, those handles are going to show up right under your profile picture and are clickable. So college coaches can directly click that and go right to your site so that they can start following you as well. So it's super easy, and definitely would recommend you guys adding that to your profiles. And then last, right here, if you ever wanted to share any of the videos or highlight reels that you created on our platform, on your social media sites, here's a really easy way for you to do that, to link them out. So when you guys are signed into your account, you'll go to your video tab, find the video that you want to select and put in your social media site. And then at the bottom, you'll see where it says copy link. And then you'll be able to copy that and paste it into your social media sites. So just wanted to show you guys how you could do that as well. Okay, so we have a couple of minutes left here for some Q&A. If you guys do have questions, and I've seen some populating, I think here in the chat, definitely drop them in there. Again, I'll try and answer as many as I can as well. Additionally, I'm going to drop a link in the chat as well. So that link that I just dropped in there, that's a link to our recruiting specialist team. So if you're attending tonight and you guys currently have like a free Sports Recruits account, or you want to learn more about the profile packages that we have and the upgrades that we have, if you click on that link, you fill in some of your information, our recruiting specialist will then be able to give you a call and talk more about the package options available for you guys. No pressure. We just want to give you guys that option to learn more about these upgrades if you are interested and you have a free account. So with that, let's see if we can jump into some of the questions. How often should I post on Instagram or social media? That's a great question. I think, anytime that you have new information to share out, specifically like with new highlight reels, or training sessions, definitely post those. Anytime that you receive an academic award or athletic award, I would definitely post that as well. You're building your brand. So I wouldn't say, I wouldn't be super stagnant, but I also wouldn't necessarily tell you to post 100 times a week. I think it's important to post really relevant things that will help your recruiting process. And anytime you have new information that you want to share to the college coaches. What if I don't have a social media account? Will it be harder for me to be found? No, and I know there's a lot of people who, don't have social media accounts because they don't want to. That's completely fine. It's not necessary in the recruiting process. Like I talked about today, it really just amplifies your recruiting process if you do have it, but it's not necessary. This is a great question. Should a player have a separate account for their like social media sites, and have it only be athletic or individual and have both? Sorry, let me back up. Should athletes have an Instagram handle for their athletic purposes and just their personal one? I would say, you want to build your brand. So you don't want to have, all these different accounts out there. I would say put them into one, clean up some of your posts from the past, and then you can really gear it towards, your recruiting endeavors. So one is probably best so that it's not confusing college coaches, like what account they should be following. I have a couple. These are great questions. Someone posted, I'm not really active on social media. Should I change that? It really depends on, what you feel comfortable with. I would say, even if you don't really want to be like super active yourself with like posting all your videos and things, that's a personal choice for you. But I do think that there's a lot of value in you guys going back and following the schools that you have favorited on the platform, because again, that can really help you, research these schools for future conversations, but just also just gain more research in whether you think that school and program might be a good fit for you as well. Um, let's see here. I think I have time for one more. I'm more active on Snapchat. Do college coaches use Snap? That is a great question. I think it depends on a lot of different factors, how comfortable the college coaches are with Snapchat. Um, I would say, because of the nature of Snapchat, those things just kind of like disappear. So I think it would be more important for you to have like a really healthy X account, recruiting X account, or, Instagram account versus a Snap account where that information just kind of like disappears and they can't, revisit or re-see it. Um, can I post the link in QA chat? It's disabled. Let me see here. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know if I can do that. I will make sure that when we'll send a follow-up email and that link to our recruiting guidance team, it will be in there as well. Okay, let's do one more here. Actually, let me see. Can you guys see this? I just typed in to the person who asked if I could send the link. So hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, last question. Is it essential to post drills as well as highlights? Um, I think I think if you are posting videos that can highlight a number of different areas of your game, I think that's really important for college coaches to see. I know for myself, I like to see not only, game film and game highlights, but for sure, kids playing wall ball, kids, lifting, kids, doing sprints, all of that good stuff. So I think it's important to post that as well on your sites. All right, guys. Well, that is all the time I have for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was really informative for you. Definitely check out some of the other webinars that we host throughout each month. Like I said, we will send you a recording of this webinar tomorrow, and then we'll also send you a follow-up with that calendar link for our recruiting guidance team if you do want to learn more about the packages available. Take care.